Welcome to Lorehammer, episode 39, Necron Dynasties.
Welcome to Lorehammer.
Hey, fuck off.
The only podcast, as you always say that, and then you come up with something. The only podcast that has three guys and a cat.
I'm sure there's other podcasts out there. I did hear something interesting about... You know what? Screw it. I'll tell that joke after. Hello and welcome to Lorehammer.
The only podcast
My name is Erik.
that has Erik Sautekh as a host.
This is Mark.
Hello. The only Mark that has a podcast for Erik Sautekh.
Okay.
This is Jordan.
The only... I got nothing.
You done
Jordan's
with that?
pretty... No, Jordan, he's pretty unoriginal, so it's not the only
Excuse
one.
him.
When you say unoriginal, what you mean is...
He's a hipster.
Yes, exactly.
But there's... Hipsters are like a dime a dozen.
It's too easy to make fun of them.
Exactly.
Right? Like...
It's like making fun of a cripple kid. Sure, you're laughing on the inside, but...
Nobody's laughing on the inside.
Oh.
No, the reason it's too easy to make fun of Jordan is because literally he just put down his like fair trade organic coffee cup, and I can't even Jordan. It's too much. And
bullshit.
I bet he drives a Prius.
Yeah.
And then I bet he just jingles the keys in front of your face, and he's like, "I drive a Prius." So there's a really funny skit in an Australian show. It's like the Elegant Gentlemen's Club for Knife Fighting or something. It's like their version of like SNL, but it's not live.
Okay.
It's just like skits.
Yeah.
And there's one where this guy drives a Prius, and it is phenomenal. I was in stitches laughing at it.
Check
Well,
it out.
do you ever watch any of JP Sears?
No.
He's like that redheaded guy.
Whoa.
Yeah, first of all, how dare you? He is more than just the color of his hair.
He has a wife and four kids.
I resent that, Jordan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably one of the worst demographics you could be, but
It's weird that they're not highest on the intersectional chart because they are the most oppressed.
It's one of the rarest conditions,
Right?
In terms of hair color as well. If you have red hair and blue eyes, you make up less than 1% of the world population. So I'm an actual special snowflake.
So it'd be pretty easy to get rid of them, is what you're saying.
very easy.
Like there would not be a lot of fight back.
No, and then you stack on something else. Like now I'm a pagan worshiper.
Yeah.
Like I'm a Wiccan.
neo-paganism.
Right,
Yeah,
neo-paganism. Yeah. So now and then also I have zero environmental footprint.
Wow.
Yeah.
You probably also have a vegan cat.
What makes you assume that I claim ownership over animals? How dare you?
How dare I?
He has a companion.
I have a
vegan
life companion. Okay,
Holy
we
shit.
share.
Holy shit.
No, I heard a funny joke about podcasts, which I might have shared on this, but it was like podcasts are this generation's lower back tattoo. Everyone's got one, and they're all trash.
Yeah.
So, welcome to our podcast where we talk about trash because that's what we are.
Uh-huh.
Right?
I think the thing about podcasts though is you don't have to be that good to have a successful one.
Yeah.
Just look at Rojogan.
Yeah.
You know,
Peter Jordanson.
oh my god.
or Ham Saris.
Speaking of podcasts, though, Games Workshop came out with their first episode.
Yeah.
Really?
It's called Voxcast. Is
Yeah.
their podcast?
Oh.
Funny enough, I have not listened to it.
Nor have I, Jordan. That means you
Are
better
you the
listen
black
to
sheep?
it.
Yeah, one of us was supposed to, and you drew the short straw.
This
So-
whole episode was about their
Say
podcast.
that I have.
Well, I guess
All right,
we have...
signing off. This is
Well,
Erik.
I guess we could talk about something
We could
else.
probably talk about.
Are they immediately bigger than our podcast?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Probably.
Define bigger.
Mark is like maybe not.
Define bigger.
No, like you look at.
They just have like a way bigger audience.
Yeah.
Immediately.
I saw their release on Facebook, and it
Yeah.
instantly had like hundreds of likes and hundreds of comments
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
many shares.
I get that too, though. Just not for
Okay.
Lorehammer. I get it
Yeah.
from my other side project.
Which is
50 guys in 1 gallon jug.
Let's.
No, it sounds interesting though.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to listen to it. I don't even
Yeah.
listen to podcasts, and I'm at least going to listen to that just to find out what they do.
Well, the first episode they
what's
have
the-
Jess Goodwin on, and he's like super famous in Games Workshop for like being an amazing sculptor. He came up with like a lot of like the art designs and stuff like from the original concepts of like a lot of like
Okay.
like when you think of like that stereotypical like 40K like cathedral skulls, like he came
The
up
Gothic.
with he came up with like a lot of that flavor.
That's cool.
So that's the one cool thing I'm excited for. Like you'll get to talk to people in the actual company.
Well, we could just move to the UK.
God no.
Why?
Because
It's
I know a
beautiful
guy
over
there.
there.
I don't ever want to meet him.
No, of course not. No. You don't want to meet people you've met online. That's a hard no in all of my books.
Speaking of the UK, did you see that? I just saw this really funny video of Andy Serkis playing Theresa May as Gollum.
I did see that.
No, I didn't. I did know there's a lot going on right now with Theresa May, and
Yeah.
a lot of people are furious at her for the terrible
Yeah,
deal.
like
So
she's probably done.
yeah, she was trying to get it renegotiated.
Yeah.
And they're like, no.
Yeah, it sounds like she's probably going to resign soon.
Oh, yes.
From what everyone's saying.
Job opening.
Yeah. No,
What
but
do I
I
have
mean,
to do to apply?
You're probably as accredited as she is.
I
very
don't even
qualified.
necessarily agree with everything he said in it.
Sure.
But it was phenomenal. Like he had the look, and then he did like the Gollum thing. But he had like the wig on, he had lipstick.
Was he was looking like her?
Yes, he dressed up as Theresa May
That's fine.
and was like talking about Brexit. But like it was just so good.
I'll have to find it.
Yeah.
I enjoy politically powered commentary.
Yeah, sure.
I enjoy political violence.
Unless it gets in the way of my personal beliefs, in which case, how dare you? How dare you make fun of my belief while I happily make fun of yours? You bastard.
Eric.
What?
Okay.
I go to school now. I'm a left-leaning liberal.
Oh God. I know.
Ew.
Let's talk about a
to
couple
be
things,
you.
though, before we actually get into our episode. First of all, Patreon.
Yeah. So there's a guy.
We actually have a new Patreon, Joseph.
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 Yozaf.
I'm assuming
Joseph?
I don't speak whatever language he speaks, so
Is he Jewish?
I don't know.
So if it's a different language, I could make up the word, and no one could really fact check me.
No, I'm pretty sure I could find that out really quickly whether or not you
Interesting.
said that.
I for once have
correctly.
all the power.
But Joseph, thank you so much for contributing.
I think
to
he
our
did $10.
podcast.
So
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's impressive.
yeah.
Yeah, anytime someone makes those contributions,
Yeah.
it always blows my mind.
Yeah, like it's nice, and then like it's kind of sad too when his check bounces, but like it was a nice thought, you know.
Have you done that to many people, Mark? Like you sign up for like a $3,000 as a patron, and then it bounces.
3,000, man. I would settle for like $5. Like that's
And you let that bounce.
and well, yeah, like that would bounce for me. Like
yeah, of course.
anything over 5, I'm screwed.
Yeah, no, naturally.
But there's this one Patreon. I listened to this one podcast, and last podcast on the left, but basically they have this Patreon tier where it's like, if you donate like $1 million to us, we'll take you to Six Flags. Like,
naturally.
all expenses paid. Like everything's expenses paid. You want the express pass, we'll get it for you. All you need
Like
to
they're
do
gonna fly that person in.
yeah.
Oh,
just for
wow.
$1 million. But
Well.
it's just so funny because they're just playing it up like all expenses paid. Like it's on us. Like we'll do this for you.
Like it's a gift.
it's a gift for you.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just so funny.
That's a good one. I would do that.
So thank you, Joseph.
Yes, thank you, Joseph, for
Joseph.
contributing. The next thing I want to do is something we haven't done in a long time.
Yes.
It's 40K's not funny.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I found a joke, and the only reason we're doing this is because we didn't actually talk about what we wanted to do in this episode.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
this is a joke I have. 2 Space Marines are out on patrol when suddenly a Carnifex comes running towards them across a field.
That's good.
Okay. One Marine sits
that
down.
wasn't the punchline.
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. One Marine sits down, takes off his boots, and slips on a pair of running shoes. The other Marine asks, "What are you doing? Those will not help you outrun a charging Carnifex." And he replies, "I don't have to outrun the Carnifex. I just have to outrun you." Which I thought was
So
the
original.
lamest thing ever. And then I saw someone reply to it
Yeah.
with this. Alternate ending. Marines ain't no bitches, so they stand their ground and both die in the vastness of the grimdark future.
Yeah.
Their deaths really don't matter.
If anything, they put on power boots.
Right,
And
exactly.
they start fucking curb stomping that car.
Exactly.
Thanks.
Throw away their bolt guns, and we're like, we're just gonna kick the shit out of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, the first joke I was like, and then I really liked the guy who commented on it. So the next thing on our list, though, is an Eternal Horizon dump warning.
Yeah, so on January 1st, we're going to be releasing 7 or 8, 6-hour episodes of the Tower RPG that we played last year.
So it's almost like 50 hours of content.
There's more than you can shake a stick at.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's that much.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it, but Mark was the one.
You
who did
played it.
So I played it. Yeah, I didn't need to listen to it. I was there.
But yeah, January 1st, make sure you unsubscribe unless you want 50
want
hours of podcast.
An unrealistic amount.
No, just turn off your automatic downloads.
With that.
Yeah. Just please don't come whining to us. Don't come whinging to us.
Well, I like social interaction, so you can come whine to me.
Yeah, no. But
I'll take anything. Anything I can get. I don't
it's
care.
all validation. But
Somebody out there is listening?
it's going to be a lot.
It's going to be a lot.
So,
Yeah.
if you're really interested, look forward to it.
Hey, this is just an idea.
Yeah.
Why don't you send all the episodes to our Patreon members first, and then a month later release them slowly?
We could.
I'm just I know this is like a planning meeting now in the middle of a podcast.
well-
Behind the curtain.
Well, first I have to take attendance. So, Mark,
Present.
okay, Jordan,
present.
and obviously Erik. I'm present. Great. That's all of us. Christian is not on the list, obviously.
Good. Yeah, maybe that would be a good thing to do.
Well, it's something we can talk about.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. Anyways,
Let's.
I digress.
But yes,
Remember, January 1st.
It's coming.
It's
All right.
I was listening to it, and we said some pretty unreasonable things.
Oh,
throughout-
did we?
Well, when you have 50 hours of audio of us rambling with a bunch of our friends, not ever really planning on releasing it.
No.
There's some
We're gonna say some
unreasonable
stuff.
hatred in there.
Oh, of course.
So that
Naturally.
was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun to listen to and be like, oh god.
Also thinking other people are gonna listen. to
Yeah. So it was good.
did you guys call each other all manner of unsavory things and racially charged epithets?
I can only imagine because Peter and I were there and we were playing against each other.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
My favorite part though was before we started actually playing the game, I press record and then eventually we start playing the game. But there was a solid 10-minute, I kid you not, it was 9 minutes or 36 seconds of Erik talking to James about supernatural episodes. For a solid fucking 9 to 10 minutes. And I was just like,
why would you cut that?
That show's so bad.
fuck out, that show's
so
now here we
good.
go. Here comes a 9 minutes.
It's so good.
So I cut it.
Did you listen to all of it?
I listened to all of it. I was like, oh my goodness, a solid 9 minutes.
How could someone talk about this for 9 minutes?
It's so good.
That makes sense. That's something I would do. Another thing on our list is High Hammer is coming soon.
Yeah.
So we've set a date of when we're going to record. I believe it's the 21st.
Or 24th? It's a Friday.
There's no way we're doing it on Christmas Eve.
Oh, I see what you mean. People have families.
Yeah, so do you.
They don't invite me.
Yeah, that's true. They make it a point to not tell him about things. But anyways, so I think we're recording on the 21st. And if you want to submit your ideas of what you think we should talk about or what you think we should do even on it, we have a couple ideas that we already are throwing around with each other.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, honestly, send us, what would you guys like to see us do while we're
stoned.
under the influence of marijuana?
Of devil's lettuce.
Skooma.
What the? Bud.
No, what?
It's Bud. Like Bud,
I never
Mary
put a
Jane.
guy in my mouth there.
Okay.
Guy named
That's
Bud.
not the first time. Anyways, but yeah, it's coming soon. So get your ideas to us
Yeah,
if you
quickly.
want to.
You have
if you have an idea.
Yeah, you have basically a week to get in contact with us. But basically, yeah, send us some awesome questions like conspiracy theories in 40K that's just gonna blow our mind. Send
And
us
if it's good enough, it doesn't have to be 40K. I'm willing to talk about not 40K
yeah,
stuff.
if you want to ask Erik about how he functions as a human being, we would love to talk about that. We might even reach some breakthrough in Erik's lifestyle
I'll
choices.
just start crying. Like, what have I done? fun.
So it should be good. I'm actually quite excited. So
It'll be fun.
yeah.
And without further ado, let's get right into the episode. Let's talk about the Necron Dynasties.
How do you say it in Necron?
No, like you know the Matrix
In Necronese.
You know, like in the Matrix when he's screaming, when Neo is screaming, when
Oh, it's
all
like
the silver
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
is going on, and it turns into like a warble,
Yeah.
like an electronic warble. That's what I was trying to go for, but apparently I don't have a digital voice box.
That's
and
unfortunate.
I'm just a human.
I'm gonna assume that Jordan just edited in post production though.
Yeah.
So it actually
Yeah,
sounds
just-
really good.
Wow, what a fantastic
Just
noise.
assume. Yeah,
Thanks for all that work, Jordan.
no problem.
Let's get in though. The first thing we wanted to do is we wanted,
Acknowledge that it's just the three of us.
yeah, you
Is
know
that
what? We don't have a
interesting?
guest on today.
Yes.
That's a little sad.
I feel a different
Hey.
energy too.
It's not gay if it's a three-way.
It is if they're all dudes, Jordan.
No.
No.
Too have heard that it's
I
not gay
think
if
you're
it's
missing a
three-way.
very important aspect of this three-way. It's like there's like, okay, never mind. But the first thing
Too
we're
many
gonna
dicks on the dance floor.
oh man, they took his dick and they cut off his body. So the first thing we're going to talk about with dynasties is kind of what makes up a dynasty. Very simple, broad understanding of what it is.
Yeah, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
What is a dynasty?
I'm so glad you asked that question, Bart.
Thank you.
So let's get into it. A dynasty are former ruling houses of the Necron Tur.
Yeah. Back during like when they're actually like Necron Tur, like
So
actual
flesh and
flesh
blood.
and blood. Yeah, like they had their own
Like noble
political
houses.
system. Yeah, you know, and
And there were a lot of them.
Yeah. The dynasty of legions used to depend on hereditary means, but loyalty to your dynasty is now a matter of programming.
Yeah.
There's
So
a-
you were born into a noble house, right? If you
Yeah.
were like a peasant or like a worker, like whatever house you were born in, it's pretty much like indentured slavery, really.
Yeah.
But you were born into like the Sautekh dynasty, so you served the Sautekh dynasty. You know.
And if your lord birthed you, then you're like a prince of the house or
yes,
the dynasty.
so you would be the next ruler of,
Yeah.
of that dynasty. Yeah. But ever since they changed and they became Necron, now it's a very simple matter of your programming.
Yeah.
And your programming can be overwritten and changed. even.
Yeah. And yeah, that is true, but it is more common that if you were a lord when you're a Necron Tur, you are a lord when you're a Necron. If you were a slave when you're a Necron Tur, you are a slave when you're a Necron.
You're a Necron warrior.
Yeah. But you are right. Like there are some stories of them like some Necron warriors becoming overlords and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I'm also thinking more like if you're a Sautekh dynasty member, another dynasty can take your body and reprogram you to now serve a different dynasty.
I suppose, yeah, because dynasties get conquered all the time.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
So there's just like
Yeah.
dynasties care just as much about themselves as they do about the Necron race as a whole.
Yeah.
Which we'll learn about.
Yeah.
So when the Necron Tur became the Necron, the lords and court members became the rulers of the Necron. And there's a lot of conjecture in this episode because there's not a lot of solid information about this. There's a lot of alluding, like when we read it on the Lexicanum and the wiki, like they give their sources,
Yeah.
and we'll go check the codex or whatever it says the source is. But the reality is, it's not.
Yeah, it's
like
not
there's a lot of extrapolation on this idea.
Yeah, of what a dynasty is. But like, yeah, there's never been, as far as I'm aware, like a book where the main character is a Necron.
I
Lord.
recently tried to find it because I was like, I got some time, I'm
Yeah.
just doing exams, so I'll get a Necron book and
Yeah.
read it. There's an anthology called The Ever-Living Legion
Oh, okay.
that was written, and I was like, that's amazing. I'd love to read it. It's like 7 short stories about them.
Oh, okay.
So I tried to find it, and it's like Indigo chapters. It's like our bookstore, like our Powell's or whatever. Like it doesn't have that, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Amazon will have it. And Amazon has everything. Doesn't exist in Amazon. And I was like, I want to order this from the Black Library. God, I feel like it cost me like $80 to get
Plus
this.
shipping.
Right,
For
exactly.
a digital copy.
Oh, it is wretched. Yeah. Anyways, so but there aren't a lot of like I heard Destruction of Baal is like one of the better ones for Necron, but even that, it's about Space Marines and Necron, right? It's not about Necron 60 million years ago.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
when they first became the Necron.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Yeah.
So as the dynasties begin to awake from their great sleep, their lords rise as well, and they're the lords still.
Yeah.
It's not like they take new votes because their term ran out or whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
no, if you're a lord, like you're a lord,
Yeah.
and you are that lord forever.
And the unique thing about the lords and some of the court that is different from warriors is that they actually retain their personalities and stuff. So each dynasty will actually have a different way that they govern, a different flavor to them,
Yeah.
Like one lord might be incredibly petty, another one might be
Vicious. One might be
yeah.
calculating, one subtle.
Exactly.
So there
actually-
is still a difference in character between them,
Yeah.
even though they are robots.
Yeah. And what makes that even interesting too is some of these lords might actually have bitter rivalries with other dynasties. Dynasties act independently, and they've been known to go to war with one another and even conquer and destroy other dynasties.
Yeah, it's a very dog eat dog world in
Yeah.
the Necron dynasty.
Yeah.
It is not a uniform front at all.
And you might think like, oh well, why would the Necron are probably one of the most unified fronts, like factions. You wouldn't imagine there'd be a lot of conflict. But the unique thing about
You think more than Eldar?
I said one of the most.
Okay.
Not, but yes, Eldar would be more. Like Eldar rarely fight each other.
Yeah.
But now I lost my train of thought. So you would think, why would they do that? Like they don't make new Necron and stuff. Like why would they waste resources? They all have very similar goals of galactic conquest and slavery. But all you really have to do to take over another dynasty is just kill their lord.
Right, or find a way to change their programming.
Yeah. So, like, you can go to war, and it could be a crazy war for all of one day, but then the lord dies in the other dynasty. Now you've conquered their entire dynasty.
Yeah.
So it's not like these all-out, like...
It isn't always the case.
It can be.
But it definitely has been and can be.
Yeah.
So each dynasty controls a region of space, and this varies greatly in size. Sometimes can be as little as a single planet, and sometimes this dynasty can span multiple segmentums.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely massive.
Yeah.
What's a segmentum?
So the galaxy is made up,
It's broken into five segmentums.
Oh,
so
oh,
the
right,
entire
right.
galaxy,
Like quadrants, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically northwest,
Yeah, yeah,
northeast,
yeah.
and then a center.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But like that's the entire galaxy, and some dynasties span multiple segmentums.
Really?
That's huge.
Wouldn't that be like the largest empire by far?
Humanity is definitely more spread than a single dynasty. So Necron exists throughout the entire galaxy. It really puts the Tau perspective into perspective.
Tau have 100 worlds.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And there's like dynasties that are small that probably have 100 worlds.
Yeah.
So they are definitely I'm trying to say something here. So the reason why they're not as powerful as you'd think they would be after hearing that is because the majority of their race is still asleep.
Right. Yeah.
Also, I feel like the Necron too are super like petty's not quite the right word, but super like play up how big their dynasty is. It's like they control this entire sector, but like how many actual like inhabitable worlds are there? Like how much of that sector do they actually control?
Right.
Like,
is this where worlds they once controlled 60 million years ago?
Sure. And
that are now covered by alien races?
Yeah, they could still be covered by alien races, but they're like, yeah, we control this area.
Exactly. It could be just a matter of pride for them. It's like,
that's
this was the area we once controlled, so it's still ours.
Yeah.
And they just...
Or it's like they have literally one planet all the way up north and one planet all the way down south, and they're like,
everything in between.
Oh, I almost made a racist joke.
Everything in between these planets is ours. But I definitely can see that happening because the Necron view the entire galaxy as their own.
Yeah.
Like and to them, everything, like every defeat, every setback, every minor inconvenience, to them, it's not technically a loss because all of the humans and the Eldar and everything else will eventually die. But they never will.
Yeah.
So there's a really, really sweet line in the Codex, if people ever want to read it, and it talks about how like the Necron are like enduring, and that over the grand scheme of things, nothing really matters to them because they will eventually win.
Everything else will eventually die.
Right, exactly.
They have like a very meta view of the universe,
which is really cool to me because not many races have that. The Eldar would be the closest, but I don't know. I really like that
Yeah.
that thought process that they have.
Yeah.
So let's go on to talk about what makes up a dynasty.
Yeah. Dynasties are primarily made up of tomb worlds, and a tomb world is a planet that has been inhabited by the sleeping Necron for untold millennia. There are 3 designations of tomb worlds, depending on their significance to the dynasty in which they reside.
Yeah, so a tomb world is just going to be any kind of planet that houses Necron.
And like literally, it could be like this one random planet that has like 10 Necron on it.
Yeah, we were
And,
kind
like,
of discussing that, the idea that just because there's a Necron inhabitant, it doesn't mean there has to be millions of Necrons sleeping on this one planet. It could just be like the Necron determined all it needed was the 30 Necron and a bunch of canoptic things to take a planet.
Yeah, because it literally could just be like a scout planet almost.
Sure.
Like
Or they're holding it
something
for
comes
strategic
into, like,
value.
the system, they come to that planet first, and then like those Necron get awakened when something comes to that planet. Then they send off a message and awaken all the other Necron.
Yeah, so we kind of guessed on our own or put our own thought into this, is that not every Necron tomb world has hundreds and thousands. Some of them might be very small, which is not canon, but that's kind of how we feel it could be.
There's a lot of, like you said, a lot of speculation, but just going off the information we have and kind of going off even like the theme of what they are.
Because you'll even see this when we talk about the 3 distinctions of the tomb worlds. Yeah.
So crown worlds.
Not to be confused with crone worlds.
No, which I did.
Yeah.
They were once the pinnacle of Necron power. These were the seats of power for the old ruling families, and as such, had greater access to defenses and fortification.
These will now be like capitals of the dynasty.
McCraig, Terra.
Right, exactly.
Bale.
The Rock. The Rock. Tell me, Mark. Tell me how it's not a planet and it's just an asteroid.
It's actually a starship.
Is it really?
It has engines.
Oh, they outfitted it with. And the reason these are still considered crown worlds is that because they were like the seats of power for the ruling families, they had access to like way better fortifications and defenses. So when they
probably even just more Necron in general,
of course, more power, resources. So when they went into sleep, they were way better defended than any of the other worlds, which allows them to wake up with the majority of their power still intact.
Yeah, and they basically woke up with amazing status and hardly touched by the millennia. These are run by overlords or pharaons if the dynasty is large enough. I think we'll get into a little bit of the difference between those two.
We're going to talk about all the different kinds and like the status of them to go. But yes, crown worlds are run by overlords or pharaons.
Yeah. Core worlds. These are worlds that are next of importance to the crown worlds, and these would be from the heart of the Necron Dynasty. Core worlds are most likely ruled by lords.
Yeah, this is like your middle class of planet. It's everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? If Terra is the crown world, then Mercury, Venus, Mars, Saturn, Jupiter, all of those are core worlds.
Yeah.
They're still important. They still house a lot of life and resources on them, but they're not the capital.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't mention Pluto, because Pluto
It's not a planet.
Well, it would be considered a fringe world.
It would be considered a fringe world.
Wow,
I didn't mention
so that
Uranus, though.
I hope you never do.
Let me tell you about the time I first saw Uranus, Mark.
Uranus.
Uranus.
Yes.
Uranus.
Uranus.
Right, of course. I'm talking about Uranus, Jordan.
Oh, okay.
Specifically.
Oh, okay.
Specifically, Jordan.
So these are core worlds. They're still important to the dynasty, but they're not crown worlds, and they're not on the outlier.
They're not the ruling ruling planets.
Yes, exactly.
We have next also fringe worlds. And these are on the outskirts of dynasties and therefore not considered as important, being far from court.
Yeah, which is a huge deal in Necron. Like, if you can't attend the court of the dynasty, you're a nobody.
Yeah, how are you supposed to peddle your power?
Exactly. How are you supposed to, like, distinguish yourself in front of your competitors if you're not there in the court?
Yeah.
Because it is a very dynastic ruling, like, very medieval in approach to that.
Not Egyptian?
No.
Oh.
What? No,
What?
not at all.
Oh. No?
Not in that sense.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So fringe worlds are often poor and distant colonies, commonly used for manual labor. So this is where Mark and I kind of figured that there were very small Necron outposts. So let's say on Pluto there's an alien race of like tiny individuals that are really good at mining that resource.
Yeah.
Well, you just need 5 Necron there to make sure that they're meeting their quotas, and then they're just constantly shipping their resource to Terra.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing, is that of course you're not going to garrison like half of your court and their army on a fringe world, because that would be ridiculous. So that's kind of where we figured there was a little breakup in population between them. So after we talk about Tomb World and the distinctions, let's go into the hierarchy of a Necron dynasty and their court. Okay, so at the very top of all Necron is the Silent King.
Yeah. He was the very first one who made the deal with the Satan for their metal bodies and stuff. He was also the one who destroyed the command codes to free the Necron away from
Absolute control.
Yeah, basically from control from himself.
Yeah.
But
and he sent them all to sleep.
Yeah.
With the protocol that after 60 million years they would begin to awaken and take over the galaxy again.
We'll have to do an episode on him one day.
At some point. Soon. TM.
Yeah.
Right?
I think
that's our motto.
Yeah. Well, except like we don't fulfill it.
No, of course not. Are you kidding? That's way too much content. We could say like literally, oh yeah, Fringe World soon, TM. No, that would be ridiculous. What am I thinking?
But yeah, the Silent King is a major player in Necron lore. There's a lot, but that's basically, he was the ruler of the Necron, and he still is to this day.
Yes.
But he eventually fled the galaxy, so he's no longer. I think he came back.
He is back.
Yeah, but I don't think he's like taken up a seat of power or anything.
Not yet. He's trying to.
Yeah.
But yes, he is currently the leader of the Necron, but he is not definitely a recognized leader of a unified race.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist yet. Yeah. So the next most powerful thing, and probably the most powerful, is Pharaons. So even though all of them would profess to serve the Silent King, like they probably don't give a shit at the moment.
Yeah.
A Pharaon is a ruler of a sufficiently large dynasty.
Yeah.
Now there's
hundreds of planets. Like
we have no idea.
Yeah, that is true. So
right?
I'd say that, and there is no numbers.
Right. Yeah. We have no actual distinction of what the differences between an overlord and a Pharaon is.
Besides that, it's a significant number.
Yes. Besides that, there's a distinction. So I guess
that's how intelligent you are. To me, a significant number is 7.
7.
Right?
So as long as you have 7 planets, you're a Pharaon.
But for somebody as post-secondary intelligent than you might be able to count higher than that even.
Sometimes. On a good day.
So
if you catch me on a good day.
To you might be like, what's the number after 7?
13.
Oof. Sounds made up.
It is. I made it up right now. But yeah, we don't have like an actual distinction. There have been Pharaons described as very tiny, and like Sautekh, which is like the leader of the strongest dynasty, he's a Pharaon.
Yeah.
So we have no real way to distinguish between Pharaons and overlords, but overlords would come next.
Yeah, and they also lead dynasties, so it's not as big.
Exactly, and they'll lead dynasties of multiple planets, but yes, just not as large. But Pharaons and overlords, they have their own court.
Yeah, I like to think, now this is just speculation, that we know that dynasties make allegiances with one another, like the Glorfindorf dynasty might make allegiance with the
Glorfindorf. The Sautekh has like
a bunch of
key like
subservient dynasties. So Imhotep would be the Pharaon. Then overlords are of his subservient dynasties. So they still rule their own dynasty, but they don't have dynasties under them. So to me, a Pharaon would be like he has dynasties under him.
It very well could.
Yes. Like once again, that's my speculation. That's how I'm going to
it would definitely make the designation would make sense then.
Yeah.
Right? Like you could very clearly say, oh, if you have another overlord pledging their allegiance to you, that makes you a Pharaon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
it's not. Yeah, I mean, there's no evidence for that, but it would be an interesting.
The logic comes from this because overlords have lords underneath them, and a lord is the ruler of a single planet. So it would make sense that they, then if you have
everything is just a very clear triangle.
Exactly,
it's a pyramid scheme.
Exactly. The Egyptians.
Who built the pyramids?
Mongols.
What?
What?
Oh, Mongols?
I don't know history very well. But yeah, lords are in control of one planet, so they're still high up, and they make up like the overlord's courts as well. So like when the overlord holds court, he'll call all his different planets together, and all the lords will come and join him, and he'll boss them around. They'll have an awesome wine party.
Yeah, cheese tasting.
Wine and cheese?
As is the Necron way, obviously. But even those lords underneath him, like there are still other ranks.
Yeah.
So Nemesis is like another rank. Vargard, Overseer are other ranks. But all of these are just things within the court. And they
are they ranks or are they titles?
Both. A little bit of both. Like a Vargard.
It's probably like a job description. Too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like a Vargard is like your primary Lich Guard.
Okay.
So it's like a personal...
He leads your Lich Guard.
Yeah, exactly. So...
he's your chapter champion, so Space Marine
Kind
players
of.
can relate.
Kind of. I mean, that's probably as close as you're going to get. But so that's a Vargard. A Nemesis is just a title given to a type of overlord.
Okay.
Right? So, like, the Nemesis on Drek is like a character you can play on tabletop. But really, he's just an overlord.
Okay.
But he's just given the title of Nemesis. Right? And then an Overseer is just like a master cryptic.
Okay.
So you can have like overseers in your court, and then you have seers, which are your cryptics. So it's kind of like there is like ranking in between these things, but it's more of a title than it is an actual rank.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and all those things make up like a Necron's court.
Yeah, you're gonna have all of those in the court, so it's not just these four things.
Do you know much about Oberon Vanguard? The bodyguard?
It's Nemesis, Zandrek, and Vargard Oberon.
Vargard. Is he an immortal?
No.
Is he a Lich Guard?
Well, I mean, technically, he's like they never say, but he would be a Lich Guard.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because would a Necron court ever have immortals in their court?
I would say no, only because immortals are just regular military people.
Yeah, but like you could have. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay. Like if are you talking about like maybe an immortal in very high honor right now, or they're in favor?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe an immortal is brought in favor, and he's presented to the Pharaon as like, this immortal did this for you, my lord, and he's given like honors and everything, and maybe he's allowed to attend court for the day, but I would not assume it's normal. Like if you you just compare it to like anything else, like when you go to your, like when we think about our parliament, like a regular guy can look, but he's not allowed to participate, right? Or
how dare they?
If you think of a medieval court, it's just full of nobles, right? And just being a military man isn't enough to be able to go into court.
Fair enough. Yeah,
but I could definitely see them participating every once in a while as like when they've earned it.
So. Okay. What else is noticeable about the court? Anything else? Like they got cryptics in it and stuff. And like,
well, because cryptics are very highly valued. Just in the fact that they're rare. Yeah. But all of these things will be in the court vying for attention and power and trying to, win prestige for them and like their legions. It is very manipulative in how they act. Which I think is cool. It adds a lot of flavor that most people don't know the Necron have.
To be honest, I don't know much about it either.
Well, it happens all off the battlefield. Yeah. Right? And a lot of people assume that when the Necron aren't battling, they're just sleeping in stasis. But they're not, right? They're holding like war meetings.
It's very Game of Thrones. Like they're all
very Game of Thrones. They're all trying to vie for power of this. And we'll see that. You guys will see that a lot as we talk about like the different dynasties and what they do and like notable things about them.
Okay.
And that was a lot.
And below the court is basically everyone else.
Yeah. So that's pretty going to be
warrior class.
Yeah, your warriors and your immortals.
Yeah.
That's all the Necron who are Necron that are not part of the court normally.
And then the other interesting thing too in the hierarchy of Necron is what are they called? They're patriarchs? No, Praetorians.
Praetorians, yes. Praetorians do not fit in this.
Yeah, because they're
structure.
technically not a part of the dynasties, except they're very honored. And if a Praetorian comes to your planet, they're not more powerful than a lord. They are the
voice of the Silent King.
Yeah.
Like the Silent King doesn't talk for himself. It's kind of the whole point. is that his Praetorians are supposed to go out and speak his will.
Yeah.
And so when a Praetorian shows up at your court, he's a representative of the leader of the entire Necron race.
Yeah. And like they put forward like the values of the Necron, like their culture and stuff.
Yeah, they'll share what their culture is. They'll
Yeah.
share their code of conduct, which is we'll talk about is extremely important to the Necron race. But there are even instances of people ignoring the Praetorians, right? So it's a very there's way more dynamic here than just robots.
Yeah.
And then the very last thing we're going to talk about is alien subjugated races.
Yeah, so this is the one thing that lots of people get wrong. Because lots of us older players remember Necron as Old Cron, where they just want to destroy the galaxy, eliminate all life. But in their new edition, which I actually really like, they actually, the more I read it, I really like it.
It's just like Primaris.
Fuck no! Get the fuck out of my house! They actually subjugate entire alien species to their will. So that they're conquer planets, and they're not just eliminating the planets. They subjugate them.
Yeah, and they'll even indoctrinate them in their culture.
Yeah, exactly. And the Praetorians even go around and like they go to planets that are primitive and don't have like their own culture yet, and they're like set themselves up as like gods to them and like kind of grow the Necron culture that way and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
of these alien races that have nothing to do with the
And
Necron.
then when like the Necron come to that planet, it's like
the gods have arrived.
the gods have arrived.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a very interesting aspect that they actually like will subjugate races and use them to their advantage. Like
we kind of had a little talk of why we think like what do the Necron actually need?
yeah, because like it's not like they need food.
No,
I'm sure they're not like they're
not energy dependent either.
To some degree,
the
they are.
cryptics take care of all of that.
Sure, yes, like it's not a demand, but they do use energy.
Yes,
I just needed to clarify that.
Sure, of
but
course.
It's not like
they're not oil. They don't need oil. Or they don't need like Ethereum crystals to run their stuff.
Exactly.
Like the cryptics
something
take care
that
of
you
everything.
have to mine or something like that. They don't need food. It's not like they need necrodermis being mined or anything. Like all that stuff is taken care of.
Yeah, it is an odd thing. So one of the things I thought about was that maybe they use these guys for is it's a throwback to when they were Necron Tur.
Yeah.
So when they were Necron Tur, their cities and planets were covered by mausoleums.
Yeah.
And they were called as nothing but what's it called?
Tomb worlds.
No, what's it called when you like offer honor to something?
Patronage.
Kind of. I don't know. Anyways,
Patreon.
They described their old worlds as just being a transitory place from the living to the dead.
Oh, okay.
Like they're
Like a pilgrimage?
less of a destination journey, but it's more like
prostitute.
their worlds were only meant to house the dead. There was no sparkling universities or museums in their old worlds. It was just mausoleums and
Basically,
pyramids
we're born
and crypts.
to die. Yeah.
Right, exactly. You're born to die, and their architecture reflected that. And in my mind, I'm like, well, how did they build all these things? Well, they probably used slaves.
Yeah.
Because they were too short-lived to do any of that. So I think this is like a kind of a throwback to where before they had these slaves building these things. Well, now they just get slaves to build massive monuments to their glory.
Let me put on my Christian Lutz hat here.
Okay.
See, in ancient Egypt, the Egyptians would enslave people to build vast monuments for them. They built the pyramids. and-
Actually, do you want to hear an interesting fact?
That's not true.
Recent archaeological recent archaeological evidence has said that the majority of the people that built the pyramids were actually Egyptians, and they weren't slaves.
Oh my
Which
God.
Could they be
interesting.
Egyptian slaves, though?
No, they were Egyptians. Like that was like the majority of where the Egyptians worked.
Sounds like somebody's spinning you a false
Could
narrative.
Could be. Could be
Because
some
I read in the Bible.
in the Biblia.
Yeah, but I think you're definitely right. Like they like to lord over people and they build these vast monuments.
Yeah, they like to feel in control. They like to feel dominant.
Yeah, and it even shows like in their court they're always vying for power. And what better way to have power than to literally
Have a planet of slaves.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot the one guy's name, but you have to send me a message and yell at me. But he sent me his Necron lore, and like part of it was he set up like this.
Was it the trade house?
No,
Was it something else?
something else. But he basically had his tomb world on a world that was already established, like already had Imperial citizens on it.
Like in actual canon?
No. This is fan.
He created it.
Yes. So it was like an Imperial world, but the Necron tomb world awoke and enslaved the population. But like the Imperials like think that the Necron are like gods essentially.
Well, that's just the Triarchs, right? Setting it all
like,
up.
Yeah, exactly. So like they think they're gods, and then he wrote about a flayed one who just runs around in the city killing people and wearing their skins, and then like going back to the house and like basically living as that person. Like
that's terrifying.
It's terrifying, but then the best part was he's like, but just think about the people, like they play along with it because they know that he's a god and that he's like this all-powerful being, even though he's like this twisted, corrupt, flayed one that even the Necron hate.
They despise.
Yeah. But like, yeah, they play nice and like, you know, they come in as his mother. That flayed one's like the mother now, but all the children are like, yes, you can tuck me in. Like
that's terrifying.
Like
that's super dark. I like it.
Yeah, they just bend to this one flayed one's will because they think
and it's very obvious that it's not his mother. Like the skin is draped on him.
Exactly.
That's hilarious. That's good. I like that a lot.
I know. I loved it, but
clearly we'll have to share his story sometime.
Yeah, we will. But like. That's the thing. Like they want to be worshipped. They want to hold power over people. They want these like giant statues built to them to proclaim how awesome they are.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
it's a good time.
It's a great time, except if you're a slave, and even then, it might be a great time. Let's now that hopefully you kind of have an understanding of the court and the flavor and the character of how Necron Court would be. Let's talk about a couple of the major dynasties, and then we're going to go into a couple of the minor dynasties. Not all of them, because there's actually quite a few.
There are. It's a typical of some dynasties were literally made as a plot point to be destroyed by an orc horde.
Right, exactly.
But some of them are actually pretty neat.
So what we did is we went through the minor dynasties, and we just picked out ones we thought had really cool pieces of information in them.
Yeah.
So let's start with the biggest and most powerful dynasty right now, and that is the Sautekh dynasty. This is the largest dynasty, and it's currently ruled by Pharaoh Imhotep, the Stormlord.
And this is where like we get back to the segmentums and stuff. This planet or this dynasty is the largest, but it only consists of 80 planets.
But it spans multiple segmentums.
Right.
It covers a massive area of space, but it's like maybe 1 out of every 50 planets is actually a Necron planet. But they claim all of it.
Exactly. So really their number is in the hundreds of planets, but there's only actually 80 Necron tomb worlds.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah, it just puts that whole thing that Jordan brought up earlier, like, wow, that's so big, but like it might not be as big as we actually think it is. Like there might be a lot going behind the scenes. But anyways.
Well, yeah, not every planet is probably suitable to be a tomb world.
Yeah.
Very true to that as well. Yeah. I think a lot of it just comes down to like their perspective is they just assume that the planet is theirs because it's between 2 of their tomb worlds.
Yeah.
Right?
But, the crown world of the Sautekh dynasty is Mandragora.
Mandragora.
I got it. Bang on.
Yeah, so that would be like their capital planet. That would be where Imhotep has his court.
Yeah, exactly. Before the biotransfers, the Sautekh dynasty was ranked the 3rd most powerful dynasty, but due to the good condition of their tomb worlds, they have awoken to galactic dominance.
Yeah, and that just goes to show you that so many Necron have been lost just to time.
And it even shows you just like that things are kind of constantly fluxing and changing as well. Like some dynasties will get more power and outrank other ones, and
everything is very fluid in the Necron world.
Except their gender, because they're all robots.
Well, they don't have one.
Exactly. I love Jordan's giggle.
He
just enjoys bigotry that way. He just enjoys it.
The Sautekh dynasty.
I'm laughing uncomfortably.
Is that what that is?
Not in pure joy and pleasure.
The Sautekh dynasty is the one most frequently encountered by humanity, and that's got to just be due to the fact that they're so close to Macragge.
Sure, there's a lot of worlds maybe in that sector.
Yeah, exactly. But they've been inaccurately branded as representative of the race as a whole.
Yeah.
So if anyone is to hear the word Necron, they're going to bring to themselves an image of a Sautekh dynasty.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Exactly.
what regular people don't understand is that there are very large distinctions between dynasties, and even in how they'll act. Some dynasties are extremely savage and they'll kill everyone, and others, like, they're just going to come and be like, hey, like, you're our slaves now, so
Good
bye.
luck.
Yeah. And they're like, thanks, bye. And so there's just very different distinctions between them. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, just to jump back to just another use for the slaves.
Is it the
Never mind.
body
We'll carry
the
on.
body transfer?
No, we'll carry on.
Okay, sure.
I'll bring it up later when it's more relevant.
Sure. Okay. The Sautekh
What is wrong with me?
The Sautekh are known for their aggressive expansion, and they've gained such a big reputation for terror that systems have been known to surrender to them to live out as slaves rather than meet their allegiance in battle. So the Sautekh is starting to create a name for themselves that is spreading outwards, and so they'll enter a star system, and like they'll come to a planet, and like their code of honor dictates that, you know, they announce their arrival and that they're going to destroy all of you unless you become their slaves, and these people just surrender because they're like, we already know what's going to happen, so we're your slaves now.
Well done.
Perfect.
Propaganda
That's
machine.
the best kind of war there is.
Yeah.
And these Necron are a natural metal color, and they have like a green glowing
Yeah, they're your
energy.
stereotypical
Yeah.
looking Necron. Next, we have the Novak dynasty. This dynasty is located in the Ultima Segmentum, and their crown world is Dol 6.
Is it 6 or 4?
6,
Okay.
according to what you wrote.
Well, then I wrote it correctly.
Oh, okay. Their current colors are red on the shoulder plates and head, and they hail from a time long ago when the warriors of the Necron turned Novaks would dab their enemy's blood on themselves after battle. So I guess their color scheme kind of just represents like
It's
that they're
a
covered
throwback.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we're extremely
in
savage.
ancient tradition that they carry on.
Exactly, yeah. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It makes, like, I like that there's like an explanation of color in most of these Necron dynasties we're going to read about.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just shows how much like culture they actually have and like tradition and honor and whatnot. But not a
lot of honor, but in that practice.
There's a lot of honor. If you murder an infant, no honor. You murder another warrior in single combat.
And then take their blood and wipe it on your head.
What are you typing over there?
Don't worry about it. Keep going.
You're making me nervous the way you type, though. It's like fucking daggers with one finger. This is my strong arm.
Yeah, exactly.
Their lord is called the Crimson King because he controls the Crimson Shard, which is actually a Satan known as the Crimson God.
This is fun to write.
This is an unwilling vassal that meets.
Yeah.
Meters.
Meats out.
Meats. Not meats like I eat meats.
No, this is meat as in like to mete
Baloney.
out justice.
But not
or,
meats as in to I like to meet new people.
Yeah, again, not like that meat, but the meat as in to mete out
Like
something.
METES. Meats.
Jordan, how do you spell? What does YES spell?
I believe it is yes.
Okay, what does EYES spell?
I believe it is yes.
Yes.
ES. Yeah. All right. Sorry, keep going on.
No, it's
Notebook.
eyes.
Keep going on notebook, Mike.
Meets out terrible destruction on their foes. They once met a Death Guard warband called the Pallid Hand that infected them with one of Mortarion's diseases, the biomechanical ferric blight. This has since spread to their tomb worlds, which is just crazy. Like, there's actually like some type of plague out there that affects their biomechanical necrodermis.
I mean, it's got to be like something that was created by like Mortarion
Yeah,
or Nurgle or something,
Yeah, like there is things that like degrade metal.
or that like mess with programs. Like it could literally be a
Like a
virus.
computer
Yeah, it
virus.
could be
a computer virus, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Malware.
I think
straight from the mouth of Nurgle.
I think it's definitely more of a physical thing than like
You do?
It's Nurgle. Like
I mean, they're like the flare virus
Yeah.
is an actual virus that causes your body to physically change.
Yes, but that's not a Nurgle disease.
No, it's not. But I'm just saying
Yes.
there are digital viruses that they
Yes.
can contract that will change them physically.
Yes, I agree.
So
with
he could
that
be
part.
he could be manipulating them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild. They are currently fighting orcs, Imperium Chaos Tyranids. So basically, it's not a good time.
they're set
gonna
on
have-
by like all sides.
Yeah. Which makes great if you want to start collecting this army. You can play tons of lorically correct games. You
Yeah,
know.
the only thing you're not allowed to fight is Tau.
Yeah, that's because they're in a completely different
Technically,
part of the
no one
galaxy.
is allowed to fight Tau other
Because
than
they're special and they need to be guarded
other
and
than
loved and
humans.
nourished.
Humans are allowed to fight Tau, and Tau is allowed to fight other Tau.
How dare you? How dare you?
They're split race, Mark. They're not nearly as uniform as you'd like to believe.
Really?
Yeah, the Farsight Enclave split off from the Tau Empire.
In the year 37 MDH.
So they don't believe in the greater good.
They do well.
They
They
do. They do.
believe in the greater good, but they don't believe in the
Ethereal cast.
ethereal caste as the ruler.
But they still do believe in the caste system.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's interesting, but this is an episode about Necron.
So why are we doing it? Is there even a single Necron player that's ever
Cared.
cared?
Yeah, give me back my undead robots.
Yeah. So
Ni-
that's the Novak. The really interesting thing about them to me is just that biomechanical plague. Like,
The
what
fact
the
that-
fuck is it?
Yeah,
It's crazy.
How does it affect them? What does it look like? How does it transfer from one person to another?
Yeah, and like, so it even
Do you think
says,
they have
like,
robot sex? It's just an STI.
No.
Put your goss on my goss. Oh my goss.
It's firing. But it is spreading to other tomb worlds.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it came in contact with the Sautekh dynasty, would it spread to them? Or if, like,
Was it engineered specifically to go
exactly,
for the Nova?
like, because they paint themselves red, the plague affects the who knows? I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm only a scientist. I don't know everything.
Yeah, in a land that is dominated by warp, you can pretty much do whatever you want and have it be acceptable.
The warp sounds crazy to me.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Nihilak dynasty, or Nihilak. I have no idea how to pronounce
Nihilistic.
it. Yeah, maybe.
Are they nihilists?
They are not. Actually, there's a way better nihilistic dynasty in here later.
Oh, okay.
The Nihilak is ruled by Pharaon Crispek from the crown world of Gedin or Gedin or Gedin.
Geheden.
Geheden. Gheden. Yes.
Why?
Yes.
I would call it Eden.
You say Gedin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? So the Nihilak flaunt gold color with turquoise accents. This is the one that most makes me think of Egyptians, just because of that turquoise
Yeah.
and gold.
Yeah.
Their tomb worlds reside on vast treasure worlds plundered from 1,000 civilizations. So they are very much in love with the idea of being wealthy through, like, powerful through wealth.
Yeah.
They are arrogant and proud, and have been known to protect their treasures to the point of isolationism. So they caught, like, way back in the day, they shut themselves off because they were just, like, worried that everyone was going to take their treasure. But recently they decided to end this policy and have decided to expand their territory, which makes sense. You know, more tomb worlds are beginning to awaken, so maybe they feel like their strength is
Yeah, at one
large
point
enough.
they're the second. This is my theory. At one point they're the second. Now they're the third. Now they're the fourth. And now they're like, maybe we should do something.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're like, okay, we have enough to leave behind to guard our treasure
Yeah.
while the rest of us go and conquer. So since the appearance of the Cicadrix Maledictum, or Gorkskrin, they have begun to mercilessly hunt down chaos. And at the same time, they have claimed a large area of space and are forcing their slaves to erect geometrically arranged monuments for an unknown purpose. This could be a throwback to... This could be a throwback to the pylons and the Satan plan to cut
King of
off.
Skyrim.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
This could be a throwback to the Satan's plan to cut off the warp from the Materium.
Sure, could be.
I mean, there's definitely an anti-warp flavor to them.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
their like, oh man,
They
we're
hunt
gonna
down chaos.
Yeah, we're specifically going to go after chaos.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if these people's lore was written before we knew what Blackstone was. So it was definitely kind of hinted like that's what they were doing. They're doing Blackstone stuff.
Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure this came from 5th edition.
Okay, cool.
A lot of stuff from Necron came from 7th and 5th edition.
5th is when they did the big change, and then 7th is just for fun, or?
No, 7th was their big change.
No, it was not.
Has it really been that long?
Yeah. I don't know exact numbers, but
Yeah.
anywho,
I don't know.
words.
I just live in this world. I don't pay attention to it.
No, why would you?
Yeah, it's trash. Okay, let's talk about the Mephrit dynasty now.
During the War in Heaven, the Mephrit dynasty specialized in harnessing the power of stars in order to turn them supernova. This is shown through their orange energy made by harvesting captive suns. That's a good time.
Oh yeah. Anyone who can...
They must have destroyed a lot of solar systems.
You have no idea. We're going to get into some cool stuff with the Necron.
Yeah, they got some wild
They got
things.
some crazy stuff.
The Mephrit dynasty was frequently used by the Silent King to bring troublesome worlds to heal. Like this.
Don't ignore that, because that was back when I wrote the wrong thing. When I wrote Troublesome Dynasties to heal.
Oh.
Right? Because,
I see.
Space Wolves did that to the other fellow. So.
I'm sure. But most dynasties disliked them, and they had thought their methods were dishonorable.
Yes, they kind of became a little bit of an outcast of this. Their pharaoh was assassinated during the Great Sleep by Eldar assassins. It doesn't list which craft world does it, unfortunately.
I'll talk.
Most likely.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah, no, exactly. Change my opinion. Change my mind. And so this dynasty is currently experiencing a power vacuum with many lords vying for power.
Yeah.
So they're like that. Their court is in disarray right now. There's not a single ruler. A lot of they're just all competing to putting their pawns in power. And just everyone's trying to claim the throne.
Cool.
And it's located in the Ultima Segmentum, so another large dynasty.
There's a lot in that segmentum.
There's a lot of powerful ones in that segmentum.
Okay, perfect.
Makes for strong Ultramarines.
I don't think you know what birds are.
The Mephrit, the way they look, they also have the silver look, but their weapons are orange, so they are charged.
As opposed to the green.
As opposed to the green of the Sautekh. So they share that similarity with the Sautekh in that they're all the metal, but their energy that you'd see in their weapons and their eyes and their body is just an orange color.
Yeah, because normally Necron technology is powered by glow sticks, but these ones are powered by the sun.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
And if you need to recharge your Gauss gun, you just take another glow stick, shake it,
Give it a good shake,
and then you put it in a slot.
Yeah.
See, Jordan, that's where you'd put the glow stick.
Yeah.
In the gun. It's perfect. Now it works.
Now
it shoots bolts that are able to destroy you atom by atom.
Fuck.
That's some powerful glow sticks.
That's what happens in real life if you drink one.
You just start melting.
Just wrecks you.
No, it's like when they all die at the end of Avengers, and they just kind of float away into
How dare
dust.
you.
Hey, spoiler alert.
Whatever.
I never saw it yet.
Did you not?
No.
You're a liar.
I'm not.
What did you think happened? They all lived happily ever
No,
after?
I mean I know that's kind of what everyone alludes to.
Oh, okay.
Is that a bunch of people die?
It's not
But don't
even
tell me.
an
Don't tell me
illusion.
who dies.
Jordan, look at
Tony
me.
Stark.
Are you? Now
Oh,
I know
sorry,
who doesn't
Iron Man.
die.
Yeah, sorry, Iron Man.
You're a faggot.
Tony Stark is an idea.
You can't kill an idea like
No.
Tony. You need to whisper it in the wind. Anything more than a whisper and it would die. Anyways, let's talk about the next gun. I think this is the last one we're going to talk about for majors, and it's the Nephret.
The Mephrit are extremely wealthy, rich in metal that is used to construct their undead legions. Which implies that they just make new bodies.
They make
but
new
the
bodies.
consciousness is they don't make new consciousnesses.
How could you?
By consciencing it into whispers.
That'll do it for me, I guess.
It's 40k science. Due to their placement near the galactic core, while being in the Ultima Segmentum,
Yeah, surprise.
grants them access to vast energy stores.
I don't know what that exactly alludes to. So in the galactic map as a whole, what is in the core?
The maelstrom.
Does that lend itself to a lot of energy?
I'll let you know. So this is what I've learned in my studies of the universe.
Yeah.
In the center of our galaxy is a black hole.
That's not true at all.
And everything is getting sucked into this black hole.
If anything, we're expanding. Well, actually, no, galaxies aren't expanding, but each galaxy is expanding outwards from other galaxies.
Yeah.
So the universe as a whole is getting larger, but our Milky Way galaxy is the same size.
Tell me more about this hole you speak of.
A hole, not like
The
a
hole.
hole.
Oh. I don't know why. What significance it would play.
I see, yeah.
But
I know there's a lot of Crone worlds in that area, right? Because that's where the majority of the Eldar dynasty or the Eldar Empire was, like at the Maelstrom, because they created it.
No, you're thinking Eye of Terror.
Oh, I am thinking Eye of Terror.
Yeah. But on the topic of like
Erik, dumb, so stupid. Why? Don't so stupid.
Cut it, cancel the podcast, cut this out.
We're done.
Just on the topic of why there might be so many Necron in the Ultima Segmentum is probably because like their original home world was probably somewhere in the Ultima Segmentum.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
All speculation.
All speculation.
Unfounded. Speculation.
Delusional.
Delusional. From this, they have produced the ability in their overlords to turn into beings of pure light.
Yeah, so that's their manipulation of these vast energy stores.
Yeah, and this is called like the golden form. Their current pharaoh, Sautekh,
Yeah. Sautekh, yeah.
has lost his sanity during the Great Sleep, and when his cryptics gave him the power to assume the golden form, he began to see himself as a celestial deity.
That's kind of cool.
Crazy.
You're a metal body that has the ability to turn into a form of pure light.
Yeah.
And so...
It's pretty fucking...
And you're crazy. So you're like, of course I'm a god. Look at me. Right?
Yeah.
Like...
I have this huge empire. Oh,
yeah.
It's wild.
It definitely lends to it. Right? Yeah. And there's been a lot of things that happen with Necron programming during the Great Sleep. So, there's a lot of insane Necrons out there. Right? So,
yeah.
Was there anything else about the Mephrit?
Their warriors can activate a small portion of this power in order to teleport themselves small distances. So, it's kind of like they got little shimmer shields, shimmer watches.
Yeah, and
around.
So it's said that the way that they're able to do this is through like a meta gold or something.
Yeah,
It's like a specific ore that's incorporated into their
necrodermis.
And this is reflected in how the Necron dynasty actually looks.
They look like bronze.
They're a bronze color.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that as you go up in hierarchy, you get more and more gold.
Yeah.
Until you're an overlord and you're pure gold because now you have the highest concentration of this in your necrodermis, and you're able to actually turn into the golden form.
Yeah.
But they also use green energy as their source.
What's crazy, though, is unbeknownst to everyone under their command, the golden form is literally just a flashlight shined on the overlord's body.
They just get like a big spotlight, way far
giving
away.
them the golden shimmer form.
Oh my god.
And the last thing we got about them, which is pretty interesting, is the Thousand Sons warband called the Cult of Time are trying to get information from the Mephrit on how the Necron enslaved the Sautekh.
So they're looking for a way to capture and contain these star gods.
Yeah, so I wonder if like this house way back 60 million years ago when they were Necronter, if one of their members was originally the one who came up with the way to trap the Sautekh and the necrodermis bodies.
Well, there's two potential traps that they're talking about. One is in the necrodermis, which to my understanding wouldn't be a trap. Because
yes, it was more of please come into this body.
And then the Sautekh were like, this is amazing.
Yes.
I think the trap might more be in their vaults, in their Tesseract vaults. Like, how do you contain a current transcendent Sautekh or a Sautekh shard?
Yeah.
So it could be either.
Yeah.
It would be really cool though if that totally alluded to the fact that these are the guys that actually made first contact with the Sautekh and brought them over.
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows? It's all speculation because Games Workshop doesn't really like writing books about Necron.
Or orcs.
I would love to hear like what's like a Necron Court like. It kind of spilled out in my story that I wrote about it. So.
Nice. I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah, it'll be good.
More excited than I've been since late 80s.
Man, I haven't laughed since 1992. Okay.
That was a crazy summer.
So that was all of the major dynasties. Now we're going to go through a couple of the minor dynasties that we really enjoyed.
Yeah. Just one fun fact about those major dynasties. They're actually like playable tabletop races.
Oh, yeah. I guess we should have led with that. These
Like,
are
they
all the
actually
ones
have
with
rules.
Yeah, these are the ones
them.
with dynasty rules in the
where,
codex.
Where all these minor ones, you can still play as them, but you don't get a rule. Or you'd have to take one of the major ones.
You take
but,
someone else's, yeah.
So the first one, Empire of the Severed Hand.
Nope. Just Empire of the Severed.
Oh, hand.
Nope. Just severed. And it will make sense. So the memory banks of this dynasty were lost during the Great Sleep due to radiation storms.
Oof.
And so the master program on the Tomb Worlds continued to function and like take care of all the Necron that were sleeping. Continue to upgrade and do repairs. And then it didn't even know that it was damaged, but it worked so well in ruling the Tomb World that it decided that it needed to share what it had done to other Tomb Worlds.
Yeah.
So the Master Program has since become a Necron overlord known as the Sarkoni Emperor. Ooh. And it has currently absorbed 4 other Tomb Worlds into its it's almost like a compliance thing, like join me and everything, like that Rick and Morty episode, Unity, that's her name, the alien vomits into other mouths and then it spreads her Unity. That's how I see this Very guy cool. Is like he'll go and infect other Necron with his programming, which brings them all under his control. So it's a very unique thing.
Very cool.
And
very cool for Necron.
Really, really great time. If they reach worlds that are not Necron, they still bring them into compliance. They just use Mind Shackle Scarabs.
Yeah, and on the topic of Mind Shackle Scarabs, I think there's only like one little piece of information on them, but basically, like, it controls races, like, completely.
Yeah, like, it will implant into you.
So, having said that, it would be sweet to see some type of conversion where it's like, they take a Tau Empire model and they put like a scarab on the back of their head, and now you can play as like Tau while still like fulfilling your Necron Dynasties lore.
No, I absolutely love that idea so much.
Like, think like Genestealer Cultists, like the conversion possibilities are like endless. Like, you could then even make like
Space Marine Scarabs.
Yeah.
You could like Mind Shackle Scarab an entire Space Marine Legion.
Yeah. And like maybe for your Dreadnought, instead of using a Dreadnought, you could use like a Canacryptic Wraith or something, like
God, Mark.
Dude, my God.
The thing about me is I think Scarabs, like the regular Scarabs that come with Warriors, are too big for this. There are small Scarabs on Ghost Arcs and Tesseract Vaults.
And doesn't a Lord Overlord? No, that was a conversion you were going to do.
Yeah, it was. But you'd need those small Scarabs.
Yeah.
And those are in pretty high demand between Necron players.
Yeah.
So, but that would be the way to do it. Like, you model your army. Yeah. Like, you build like your Space Marine chapter.
Just the way you normally build
Exactly. And then you just slap a Mind Shackle Scarab on the back of everyone's helmet or head.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing.
So cool. And then you could paint them like to match your dynasty.
Exactly. Yeah. No, really cool. Yeah. Mind Shackle Scarabs are awesome.
So that's why I really like this one. The whole
it has a lot
AI,
of good elements.
Yeah, the whole AI part, or not AI, but like the malfunctioning computer system AI. It's cool. I like that. That's pretty neat. But to me, I like the Mind Shackle Scarabs more, just because it opens up all that.
You can play Necron while being any race.
Yeah, like it just opens up all that.
The next one we're going to talk about is the Thought Dynasty.
The
Thought Dynasty. Dynasty of Thoughts. The Thought. These cryptics have learned to harness radiation in order to power their weaponry and soldiers. So this causes the blue hue of the dynasty. So their energy is blue. So out of their eyes, faces, all that is blue. So it's really cool. It makes me think of just ice.
Yeah.
In a cold world.
Yeah.
The energy is not only limitless, but also causes their enemies to get sick and die in their proximity due to radiation poisoning. So you get like
wild.
It's like having a nuclear reactor just drop down on your planet, like an unshielded nuclear like reaction. You're just like, there's an army, and why is all of our army dying now without even fighting them?
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy.
It's really cool.
It's wild.
Welcome to the Necron.
The Sautekh Dynasty. During the War in Heaven, this dynasty fought against massive Eldar fleet over their tomb world. This caused their planet to be effectively protected by a shroud of wraithbone and living metal from the debris that's in orbit. So huge war, a bunch of ships blow up, and now it just has this like shrapnel, wraithbone, living metal.
Like a cloud surrounding the planet, but in orbit level.
Yeah, it just, it's wild. It's wild. The current Pharaoh is Sazar the Invincible.
Thazar.
Khazgar. A self-styled pirate king. He tricked the master program to recognize him as the Pharaoh, securing control of the dynasty. So earlier in the episode, we talked about like sometimes, very rarely, like maybe an immortal became the overlord. This could be an example.
Absolutely.
Of that. Like we don't know what his position was. It was probably a lich guard
or a lord. Yeah,
but it could have been a warrior.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah,
right. Because we like to say that the Necron don't have any personality.
Yeah,
and the reality is they don't have it previously. But any kind of manipulation in their code can give them little quirks. That we would determine would be personality.
Yeah, and even just the way he self-stylized himself, like he has his own view of how he is that might not actually even be how he is.
Right. He might even just be a warrior that had a messed up malfunction in his brain that caused him to think of this.
Yeah.
you never know with Necron, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And the next one we're going to talk about is the Oruskar Dynasty. Without a doubt, one of the coolest ones in existence, but only for one reason. All right. So this dynasty was always at odds with the much more powerful Sautekh Dynasty, and they continuously came into conflict with them as they both attempted to spread throughout the galaxy. The only thing is, these guys controlled a much smaller playing field than the Sautekh.
Yeah.
And the only reason they were able to kind of compete with the Sautekh is because they were known to have many technological wonders. And when you're talking about the Necron, like if it's a technological wonder, it's even beyond what we thought was capable.
Yeah, it borders on magic.
Exactly. And it is magic. So there is this thing that they have, is called the Celestial Orrery. Mm-hmm. Now I'm pretty sure I've at least said it before.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know if I've
explained. It's one of the coolest things in the entire galaxy.
Yeah. And so this is like a 3D map of the galaxy as a whole, not even just like a single system or what are segmentums broken up into? Sectors. Yeah, it's the entire galaxy in this thing,
and it's accurate too.
It's 100% real time information.
Yeah,
and because everything is constantly moving and in flux, this thing is holographic and it's made with living metal. It's like a web, and so they're just constantly moving, and there's lights that are in this entire massive thing. And whenever a light in the celestial orrery is extinguished, that star that it represented in the real world ceases to exist. So they effectively can eliminate any star in the galaxy they want by blanking out a light on this map.
Now, just the way you said it, I didn't read the Wikipedia page for it. Now, when the light goes out, the star goes out.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean though that they can actually affect it? And that's
they extinguish it. So what it's described is that they understand that using this could have untold consequences.
Yeah.
Because if you all of a sudden just destroy stars, all of these stars that are working in concert with their gravity, you'll fuck everything up.
Yeah, now planets no longer are sucked around the star and they're flinging off into nowhere.
Right, and it can just as easily mess up your reality as someone else's.
Yeah.
So it's claimed that they wield it with the precision of like a gardener, and that they're trying to create like what they want. So they're like, we like want this section, and we know when we extinguish this planet, these are the extinguish this star.
It's not something they do lightly though.
No, exactly. And that's the whole thing, is that they understand like the responsibility they have when they're wielding it.
Yeah.
So part of their role is also just to protect this.
Yeah.
Because a lot of like Chaos Space Marines have heard about this.
I think.
Yeah. And there's also other Necron Dynasties that obviously know about this, and they're all trying to get it, but they don't trust anyone else to use it with their precautions like they do. Yeah. But literally, they can just stamp out a star.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Imagine, like, they could just fuck Terra right now.
Over in a heartbeat. Terra's done.
Done. the Emperor's gone. They just messed up the entire galaxy. Because
Yeah.
now there's no more Astronomicon.
Right.
Like-
No, it's phenomenal.
It's insane. It's probably the craziest thing in all of 40K.
Yeah.
Like-
And just the fact that, like...
Besides Primary Experience.
Right, of course.
But that's a different kind of crazy. That's like insane crazy, where this is cool crazy.
cool crazy. The rule of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely nothing else that I know of. And another interesting thing to note about this, no warp power at all. This is all just their understanding of the real life universe and how to affect it. That's crazy. It's actual
How?
science.
Yeah. It's madness.
It's madness.
It's wild. Yeah, very cool. The Dynasty,
Yeah.
That artifact and whoever controls it,
It makes
crazy.
them all
crazy.
powerful.
Yeah. Okay, the next dynasty, the Oroska dynasty.
Orosk?
Oroska.
I think Arosk or Arosk.
You guys can take the
Orosk.
words, and you know you can shove them in a dictionary where they belong.
In the Necron lexicon.
This dynasty has been infected by the flare virus because of the deliberate contamination of an Eldar craft world, Altiok.
Alatok.
Alatok.
The reason this one's interesting to us is because an Eldar, instead of destroying the Necron, determined that the better thing to do is to expose them to the flare virus.
Yeah.
How do they get the flare virus?
Yeah, like have they captured a flare once and then just like shipped it away without the flare like transdimensionally teleporting?
Right, because they
elsewhere?
get
Like,
pocket dimensions.
like,
yeah. So
it just opens up a huge possibility, and it also shows like there's a couple of things in here, like the whole ferric plague also show like even though the Necrons have like these robot bodies, they're still very much
you can still kill them.
you could there's still some things that like make them so they're not just this invincible thing.
Yeah, like
Lots of
programs
people-
would never hurt us.
Yeah, there's lots of things that like bring balance to 40K, and this is one of those things where otherwise like they're undead legions and like you can't kill them because they always teleport away, and like it just it brings a little bit of balance while bringing some interesting like how did they do that? Like
It's a nice problem that they have.
exactly, so they're not just all powerful.
All right, but that's pretty much all we had on the Orosk. Is that the Eldar, what was it called? Deliberately, contaminated them.
Yeah.
So now they've gone back to their planet and they're spreading it. So it's got to be like they foresaw it in like the vein, the
skeins of
skeins of fate. That's what they are. Yeah,
and then like all the Necron haters will be like, oh yeah, in 20 years all the worlds will be infected because this one went there and the flare virus.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like all Orc players, like, oh, if Orcs united, that would be the most powerful. Oh, but Tyranids and all that bullshit that everyone likes to point to. Next.
If. The Nekthist dynasty. These are seen as betrayers and traitors because they refuse to listen to the demands of the Triarch. So this would be the Praetorians. These guys refuse to listen to the Praetorians, which is supposed to be the will of the Silent King.
Yeah.
They were assaulted by orcs and they requested aid from other dynasties, but nobody came.
Yeah.
So they were effectively abandoned.
Yeah.
And because of this, or no, in spite of this abandonment, they were still able to repel the orc invasion. But because of that, they have completely thrown off their Necron code of honor.
Yeah. Well, it's like, okay, so they did something wrong. Then people are like, no, you get punished for doing something wrong. And they're like, fuck you. And then they call for help and nobody comes. And then they're like, fuck you again.
Yeah.
So, that you dig your own grave.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Necron, then you have slaves that dig your grave for you.
Kind of. I think there's two parts to this. Like, if a Praetorian shows up at Imhotep's court and tries to tell him what to do, I could see Imhotep
So here's the thing, though.
giving lip service, but not actually caring.
I don't think we included everything. They disobeyed the Triarch before the War of Succession. So this was when they were Necron Tur.
This is way back when.
Way back when. So you're right in saying like if Praetorian went to Imhotep and he said no, it's not like all the Necron are going to disband or abandon them. Like this happened when their power was way more like
it was way more
law.
important.
Yeah.
But still, because of this, they've completely thrown off the Necron Code of Honor. Instead, now they're known to use any means necessary in order to achieve their goals.
Yeah.
So, whereas before, like, honor and combat is very important to a Necron, now they don't give a shit.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things, too, that shows, like, that the Necron have their own culture and, like, they have their own things that they deem honorable and dishonorable. And,
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. We got two more. Yeah. Two more. The Maynarch dynasty. This is the Forge World dynasty, if anyone is familiar with that.
Like the company Forge World.
Yeah.
This is their personal.
Yeah, this is the one they created for their releases.
Yeah.
So even before the War in Heaven, the Maynarch were known for their savagery and malice. And the Silent King had deliberately deepened their conditioning to increase their savageness during the Bryo-transference. But this, so like he's like, hey, make them more savage.
Yeah.
And this allowed him to use them very effectively during the revolt against the Satan. So he's like, I need a really savage, people. So go send in
Lots of teeth.
yeah, go send in the Maynarch, right? So
Yeah.
these are the ones that actually destroyed one of the Satan. So the only Satan that's ever been known to be killed.
Yeah.
His name was Landu Gore, but he was also known as the Flayer. And in the backlash of his death, the Maynarch were also the very first ones to be infected by the Flayer virus.
Yeah.
And then before the Great Sleep. So this is...
Can you just go into the Flayer virus a little? Just for a quick
Yeah, so
second?
the Flayer virus is something that changes the Necron away from their impassionate, cold, calculating self into something that just craves death. And they crave it to the point of where they grow more hunched, their fingers grow to be like knives, and they go kill people, and then they wear their bodies. So they'll flay the skin off of the race they killed, and then they'll drape it on their bodies. And a lot of them have like skeletons attached to their body, so it's very gruesome.
Yeah. It's wild.
But that his curse is the one that did it. But it's just a change in their programming.
Yeah, because he himself liked to do that. So then when he died, what was it intentional? Do you think?
I do.
Yeah.
I do think it was
As a curse?
Yeah.
Okay.
As like how dare you do this to me?
I guess because it's like you destroyed me probably because they didn't like what he was doing. Yeah. So then I'm gonna make you do this now, and what you sought to destroy, you have become.
Yeah, and that's just speculation.
Fair enough.
We have no idea. But so after like all this happened, but before the Great Sleep, so still 60 million years ago, other dynasties petitioned the Silent King to destroy the Maynarch because they were like, nah, man, like it's too much. They're too crazy, and we need to stop this infection.
Yeah.
But instead, the Silent King refused, and he actually made sure that their planets in the Great Sleep were very well protected by like all manner of canoptic creatures and solar arrays. So when they eventually woke up, they were extremely like in a very unharmed state, which is
rare.
Rare. It's not common. But when they did awake, thousands immediately turned to flayed ones. So like they wake up, they come out of their cryostasis, and boom, flayed one, they go insane, and they just start trying to kill.
Yeah.
And then all the other ones, they realize like this is what I'm gonna be like in the future. These are the ones that are the nihilists. So it's at this point that they completely abandoned any like likeness, any affinity for life.
Yeah.
Because they're like, life holds no meaning because this is what I'm going to turn into at some point.
Yeah. I don't need to build an empire because I won't be able to enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. All I'm going to be is turn into this fate, this horror that's only intent to kill. So
yeah.
And this was directed, this kind of like feeling of hatred for life has since been directed through the efforts of Ferak Sumbakir. And Ferak, I tried to find a difference between Pharaon and Ferak.
Yeah.
I don't think there is one.
Typo.
Nope. I think it's real, but I couldn't find like an actual distinction. So
Sure.
But yeah, this person, he said, all right, if this is what it is, then all the Maynarch's goal is to destroy life. So that's what he determined. Yeah.
Yeah. And like his whole thing, not his whole Tomb World, but a lot of it is just flares.
Yeah.
Oof.
Exactly.
Oof. Good times. Okay, and the last dynasty we're going to talk about is the Arotep. This dynasty assaulted the maiden world of Silentia.
Silentia. So a maiden world is just a Eldar world that has been terraformed in order to allow them to inhabit it.
Yeah, exactly. Their goal, the reason why they laid assault to this maiden world, was to claim an ancient gem that was held on the planet. And this gem, which is crazy, is potentially a shard of the Void Dragon. I had a conversation with somebody about he wanted to incorporate like a Void Dragon shard, and I had not read this before we had this conversation. I thought, no. As soon as you introduce like something that Games Workshop hasn't done, like, so if you say that, oh, you have a shard of the Void Dragon, like, to me it's like a special snowflake thing.
It's way
like,
too special.
But now, upon reading this, if one dynasty has it, it's possible that another has it.
Of course.
But heed my warning, because this is what happens if you do have a shard of the Void Dragon. It escaped and almost wiped out their entire dynasty. Although the Cryptics were able to force it back into its cage eventually, but at great loss.
Yeah, super loss. Like,
So.
and an interesting thing here is like it's still not confirmed that this is a shard of the Void Dragon.
Yeah.
It's just that the dynasty thought it was.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where not confirmed, but probably is.
Yeah, and then they even go a step further. They say like how powerful that this shard was.
Yeah.
So it definitely like. If it was a powerful enough shard such as this, it would have been able to manifest its true form, you think. So you would have known if it was a Nightbringer. You would have known if it was a Deceiver.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah. So it's quite possible it was a Void
that's
Dragon.
a good word of caution. If you're going to include Void Dragon, you better be ready for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I wrote a very short story about my Necron Dynasty, whose story I'm just trying to flesh out right now and kind of like make real as opposed to just ideas and thoughts. Well, I'm not going to share that story in this episode. We're going to save that for a bonus episode where I'll just read the story and we can chat about my dynasty as a whole. But
the bonus episode will come out on the 19th. So in this
I hate
episode,
it when you give dates, Mark.
and this one will become.
No
this
doubt.
episode is coming out tomorrow at exactly 7:30 a.m. Pacific Central Mountain
Let's
Time.
just say that it's going to come out in the near future.
Very soon.
But I wrote it and kind of going through it, there are kind of some things that and this is me, again, please, this is just me, things that I think make for a good Necron story. And I'm sure, Mark, you have your own ideas for what makes like a good Necron story. There's just some themes and aspects of it that I think need to be included.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you had a story with a peace-loving dynasty, it's like, that's not really a good Necron story.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Right.
So, tell us what you think is a good Necron story. What consists of it?
So there some things that I think are universal for Necron is the need for dominance.
Sure.
I do not think you can ever write a Necron story about a dynasty that doesn't believe it should rule.
Yeah, like there is no Tau Empire, Necron, Dynasty,
They don't
Alliance.
believe. They do not believe that there is a place for anyone at the top other than themselves.
Exactly.
So if you're going to write a Necron story, like even if you don't want to go to all-out war, that's fine. But the Necron don't give a shit about anyone.
Yeah, there still has to be that mind space that they are the best.
Exactly. Your Necron, another thing that I think is really important is that they still need a personality.
Yeah.
So you can't it would be really easy to be like, oh, their program is just to destroy all life. So they just go around, find planets and kill them.
And that's what they were. And they turned out to be very boring very quickly.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like they were that at one point.
Yeah.
And if I'm still a fan of the old Kron only because I loved the idea of them being controlled by a sadistic star god. But now that the star gods aren't what they were, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So it just kind of ruins that story. So I do think you need to give your dynasty a character. And at the very least, everyone other than warriors has a little spark of personality.
Yeah.
You could have immortals conversing with each other about how one of them hates wet. You never that's
wet?
That's a very basic thing that I feel like an immortal would retain on, right? Very
broad
strong
concepts.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas warriors wouldn't retain anything, and then as you go up the totem pole, they get more and more. Until you're Imhotep the Stormlord, and you're a philosopher. Right? He's a philosopher / ruler. He's been around for millennia.
I like how you're putting this so far.
Yeah. Good. Another thing that I think is important in a Necron story is a view of eternity. Because something about the Necron is that they don't really care about now.
Yeah.
And they never have.
They play the long game.
Exactly. Nothing to them now matters.
Yeah.
Right? All that matters is that in the end, they're going to do it, which I think is like really hard to write about.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about a Necron dynasty and you're like, oh yeah, all my battles happen in the span of 40 years. Well, it's impossible. Necron can't even travel fast. Right? So they have these things, they have tomb ships.
Yeah.
Where it's like they're less than light travel.
Are they really?
Yeah, I believe so.
That's absurd.
No, it can't be. That's impossible.
Yeah.
But it's not warp travel.
Sure, yes.
Right, and
it has to be faster than light.
It's got to be faster than light, but it's not warp travel.
Yes.
So, okay, that makes more sense. But yeah, like even still then, it still
It's
takes...
so slow.
Like, it still takes... Like, if you want to travel from the sun to our Earth, that's 8 minutes at light speed. Okay? So, if now you want to travel from one end of the galaxy to the other at light speed, or just barely faster than light speed...
You just got to fold a piece of paper 57 times, and then boom, you're there.
But honestly, like even that is ridiculously slow.
Yeah.
When you're talking about people who can go step from one end of the galaxy to the other.
Yeah.
So, and this is where I think you really need to bring in the idea that your Necron are long lasting.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
But okay, and then another thing is you need to have a fault.
Absolutely.
And this is true for any story.
Every story, yeah.
You can be the best warrior. You can have the best energy. You can be the most regenerative Necron. You can be the richest, whatever.
But then you beat your mother.
Well, hey, that's a fault. But if you do not have something that's wrong with you, then how are you not the ruling dynasty?
Exactly.
And please don't make the cop-out is that my dynasty is small. Because if you are that powerful, if you are that wealthy, blah, blah, blah.
If you're that competent.
Yeah, you would you would be controlling other Necron. And you would force them to join you.
Yeah.
So it's like there has to be another reason. Like the
Yeah.
Sautekh, they come out and say like, this is the largest dynasty.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it is ruling people.
Yeah.
Right? And like their flaw isn't really much of a flaw.
Yeah.
They don't really have one. Other than the fact that you could just say the same with every Necron's flaws is they're all awakening.
Yeah.
Right? So but those are a couple things that I think are really important for every Necron story at all.
And I agree with every one of them. I definitely agree with having characters, and I definitely see it more as quirks.
Yeah, and to me, it doesn't matter how you see it, right?
No, absolutely not.
If you want to write it as like a malfunction in their programming that leads them to do this really weird behavior, like it'd be really not funny, but it would be really weird to see a Necron army with OCD.
Yeah.
Right? Like
so Charlie doesn't die.
No, yeah, like every time they come back from battle or every time they shoot their rifle, they like have like a really weird like neck twitch or something, right? Like a tick or something. So, but it's just like a malfunction in their program.
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely like that. I agree with you. Other thing, the one thing that you didn't mention that I think is equally important is writing about their pre-Necron life. So writing about what they were when they're a Necron tour, like what was their place then, or like did something happen then that made them the dynasty that they are in 40K?
Yeah, and I think that's even tougher to write about because we know even less about that than we do this. So, like, I wrote a story about my Necron that I'm going to share, but it's current. It's in M41.
Yeah.
But I am going to write a story, and I kind of have it forming in my mind of the Necron before the Great Sleep, but still not as Necron Tur, because like I guess I just haven't formed that thought for that. But I am slowly going back.
There's still a long period of time when they were Necron before they went to sleep.
Absolutely, they fought in a war over the entire galaxy, right? So like, but that
like did the Silent King use them as an honor guard or whatever?
Exactly. What role do they fit? And you need to always remember that the Necron are very military.
Yeah.
Like when they weren't fighting the war in heaven, they were fighting the wars of succession.
Yeah, which was against himself.
Yeah, which was so there's no such thing as peacetime for Necron.
Yeah.
Right? And it never was. And so I think that if you need to include some military aspect in your Necron story, because I don't think you can effectively deny that.
Yeah.
Right? Or let's say like if you wanted to write a story that didn't have a military aspect to it, you better have a good fucking reason.
Yeah, like in just an example of one reason, let's say on a fringe world there was a lord and he would like this is when they're Necron Tur and the Necron Tur needed food. So this lord was in control of a farming world. So he had no warrior caste on this planet. He had no overlords or anything. So then when they get turned into Necron, like your army list could literally be a lord and then just Necron warriors, because we know like any civilian turned into a Necron warrior.
Yeah, anyone.
You know, like, and that could be a reason why. But you're right. Like, it is very military.
And their court shows that too.
Exactly.
I also
Exactly.
I also really like stories that include court.
Yeah,
It allows for the dynamics between it. Because I think it can get kind of boring if you're just talking about, and then they marched across this land and killed everyone. And then they marched across this land.
Like, just imagine a story of, like, some alien race coming into contact with the Necron, and the Necron overlord, like, it's like, come to my court and we'll discuss the arrangement of your servitude.
Yes, exactly.
You know, and
like, that's
like,
amazing.
You know, and, like, at first this alien species is, like, all confident, like, for his people. Like, I'm gonna fight him off and I'm gonna give us the best deal.
And then,
like, he's being shown through the tomb world, and it's like, holy fuck.
How could I possibly fight this?
Exactly.
Right?
Like,
yeah, no.
The court definitely opens up a lot of ways that us as humans can kind of relate to them more and kind of conceptualize them. Like,
exactly, because I think a lot of it is once we start getting away from the robotic legions and we start getting into the fact that they actually have a character, that's when you'll find the richest stories.
Exactly.
Right? When it is something like, oh man, like, of course, like, I love that idea of him taking an alien to his court, and then even when he gets there, the alien is more an awe and odd. And then there's like the final reveal moment where the Lord takes a scarab and shoves it onto his head and is like, you're mine now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like right when the moment is most dire.
One other cool story example, and unless you have anything else, then I think
that's kind of so, what I felt
earlier too. You kind of briefly mentioned like it'd be cool to have like it was cool when the Star Gods were ruling the Necron. Just a way you could still like have old Necron with current lore. Like, you could still play as old Kron, but still be in part of current lore. You can just say that your overlord or Pharaon and like his entire court was killed. And then, like, a Satan literally broke free and now is running a bunch of immortals and warriors, right?
Oh, yeah. In your story, that would be amazing. On tabletop, please don't do that.
Why not?
Because that would cripple you to have no my will be dones.
Oh, fuck the rules. You people and your rules.
Yeah. No, I love the idea of the Satan being cruel overlords. There's really funny memes that fly around all the time on Necron pages, and it's like propaganda posters done by Mephrit the deceiver, and he's like, throw the shackles of your overlords off and join the resistance, free yourselves, and
join the shackles of me.
Exactly, yeah. And then there's like overlord like that were created in response to it was like, don't listen to them. If you see any suspicious Satan's behavior, report it to your lieutenant for immediately. And it's just really funny to see that fly around. Anyways, nice. Jordan, you have any input after hearing all these different
did anything
dynasties?
Jump out at you and think, why the fuck am I doing a podcast with these two?
How Warhammer.
I think that every time. No, I am kind of curious though. What dynasty is your army?
Mine is my own.
Oh, you made your own dynasty.
It's called the Nekhebet dynasty.
Oh, okay.
What rules do you use? We can go with that.
My rules, I'll use any rules.
So you're a rule whore.
Yes.
Okay.
Depending on the
damn dirty whore.
Yeah. Depending on who I'm fighting and the kind of list I'm building, I'll use whatever dynasty's rules. But there are a couple that are like the most beneficial. But it doesn't matter. We're not a rules podcast.
If you didn't do your homebrew, what's your favorite?
If I didn't do... so if I had to pick from the 6 majors?
When I pull a gun to your head right now, what are you picking? What is your favorite?
Novoke.
It doesn't even have to be a major.
Oh, it can be a minor?
Yeah.
Or Iskar. The one with the Celestial Orrery. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
But if I had to pick a major, it's going to be the Novoke. I love how the red blood. I love that they kept that flavor. And that's like... And you could especially see that in Lichguard. Like it seems very ritualistic to me.
Yeah.
And a lot of like the courts seem very like when I picture it in my head, it's a very ritual thing. They have their codes of conduct, they have their power plays that they make. And then now they have these rituals of, applying blood, which is probably just paint now, but they could still use blood for all we know. like applying this
World
blood.
Eater technique there.
Yeah, no,
They
I'm
didn't
just,
repaint their armor. They've just been covered in blood by centuries of war. Now they're red. Opposed to blue and white.
I enjoy like a ritualism in it. So, and that's how I picture the Novoke is. Well, a lot of people view them as like bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
But I view them as like a ritual and not really. Yeah. So, anyways, that's definitely my favorite one.
Cool. I think my favorite would probably be the Sautekh Dynasty, and that's just the ones that have the blue energy and like they have limitless power, energy, and they like
unlimited power.
Devilfish is the shit. And they like do the whole radiation poisoning. It's just a cool.
Yeah.
It's truly terrifying.
It absolutely
Necron are
is.
already super terrifying, but then like
You add that on top
you
of
just
it.
like are literally getting sick, and then you can just imagine their slaves who are all just dying from sickness, and it's.
You think of it. That was their life though.
And
before,
I was gonna
right?
say that too. Like it just like it goes full circle, and then these guys will eventually like find their own star gods.
Yeah. Who knows? Jordan, you have a favorite one?
I kind of like the idea of the Mephrit, these beings turning into pure light.
That's really crazy. You know,
Yeah,
I
it
did
makes you
not.
think,
I did
It's
not
almost
know
like
about that.
angelic.
It is very
but fallen angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And whenever I think of these stories, I just go back to like, what do their slaves think? Like,
right. They truly would see them as gods.
right? Like they already are metal being that then can transform into light.
yeah,
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
very cool.
it's a good time.
Yeah, this was a good episode.
Yeah.
It's always funny when we're planning or when I'm like running through ideas of what we're gonna do next. I'm like, oh, that's only gonna be like 30 minutes, but now we're probably 2 hours deep.
Yeah, who knows?
Sure, you take away all the cock jokes. Now we're running at half hour, but
Right.
still.
Yeah, we've got 20 minutes of solid content in this entire episode. So, anyways, I think that's it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, guys.
Support us on
When's
Patreon.
this one getting released?
Tomorrow, the 12th.
So then we'll have.
No, I don't.
Maybe
I
the
should
13th.
be able to get.
We'll see in the next couple days.
Yeah, a day or two.
Wait, today's Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
It's funny, yeah, in the day or two. It's like when they hear this,
Right.
it will be out.
Yeah, obviously.
It'll be released tomorrow.
Are we scheduled to release one for Christmas Eve? Because I honestly don't know if that's going to happen, gentlemen.
Well,
we could record it and release it on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, we could. No.
We could do a Christmas
Oh, no,
episode.
no. Boxing Day. Boxing Day will be our next one, the 26th.
Could do a Boxing Day.
Well, in
episode.
that
Don't we have
case,
Weed Hammer? We got a
We
bonus
do.
episode.
We
We got
do.
a bunch of stuff
But
coming
here's-
up.
this
we
is-
got Tower RPG.
the thing is, Mark, not everyone listens to those. So this is like our main thing. So guys, have a Merry Christmas. Okay?
Or don't.
Or
If you don't listen.
Or if that offends you, fuck you.
Yeah, why would you change the name of a holiday? Why?
What?
Can we do Baby It's Cold Outside, a duet?
Yeah.
I would be more than happy to sing that with you, Jordan. I sincerely would. You know I would.
Oh, okay.
I feel like you guys are gonna be like lying on a bear pelt in front of a fireplace while you're singing it.
Well, he's gonna
shirtless.
be shoving roofies down my throat.
Yeah.
As the song clearly implies. Interesting enough, actually go read about the actual meaning of that song. It's not. It blows my mind that people did this.
Oh, people are dumb. Yet you can play rap music that is literally about fucking bitches.
Yeah,
And that's perfectly
and-
fine, and they win awards.
Yeah.
So
Have you heard Immortal Technique? The
No, but it
rapper?
sounds like something my Necron would love.
Probably. He's like kind of an underground rapper. Like people like in the rap world.
Oh, do you hear Tekashi is gonna go away for life? Tekashi 6ix9ine
oh no,
for racketeering? No, I just think it's amazing. I love it.
That is
He's going away for life.
For life?
Yep.
For racketeering.
For racketeering.
what is
What?
racketeering?
It's like the potential to like sow harm, like discord. So like
Oh shit, that sounds a lot like what I'm
oh
doing.
yes, absolutely. No,
It's like you
racketeering is
can-
a very vague
You can
idea.
like rape somebody and go to prison for
less.
for 5 years or
Yes.
10 years.
No, it's insane.
And-
But it doesn't matter because he's a piece of shit anyway. But it's just so crazy to me. Anyways, Immortal Tech 9.
Technique.
No, Immortal Technique.
Okay.
But he wrote a song about he claims it's a true story, but no one can verify it. But he wrote a song about and a lot of people are calling it like the greatest rap song of all time. I don't know about that.
Have they heard Backseat Freestyle? Yeah.
I don't think it's interesting, but it's like about raping his mom or a
Jeez.
guy raping his mom.
Okay.
and like a gang rape.
That's pretty
It's
wild.
like, but if you listen to it, it's like
Is it like graphic or is it
It's-
kind of just like raw?
Yeah, it's both. I would say it's like pretty like. Whew.
I'll have to listen to it.
There's kind of like a twist to the song too.
But like that will be played on the radio. That'll be played on the radio.
No,
No,
that song.
it's not allowed.
It would never be played on the radio.
There are tons of songs that demean women and get played all the time.
Sure.
So let's not pretend that a song from 50 years ago is bad.
If you want me to explain to you what
Fucking
"Baby
idiots.
It's Cold Outside" actually means, send us a message because I think it's really interesting how we've twisted it. But it's not what everyone thinks it is. But it's too long to explain here, so we got to go. Anyways, guys, we have a Patreon. Support us so we can continue to talk about dank stuff on our podcast.
Support them dank memes.
The dankest of talks. We also have merchandise, guys. If you want Lorehammer like dice bags or pillows or beds to cover yourself in so you can feel our warm embrace while you're sleeping, head over to Redbubble because we've got that on. Also, just hit us up always on Facebook and Instagram. So cool. See you guys.
Wait, one more thing.
Okay, what?
If anyone's playing the Relic Space Marine game, send me a message because it is fucking fun.
It's been fun, yeah.
And we've been playing it like fiends, and it's great. And we've been playing stuff. Send me a message if you play it. We got a pretty good group. I want to start. I don't want to start. I just want to do like one Saturday where we get as many people as we can to do a PvP game.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's right. But
All right.
if you play, I think I got like 10 people
That's
that are going to
pretty
do
wild.
it. So keep messaging me if you play that game. We'll set up a day. I'm going to put it on Facebook when we actually do it. But
Yeah,
if
that'll
you
be
make
cool.
it, great. If you don't, fuck you.
Oh wow, that's some
Hostile.
okay.
Right off the bat.
Yeah,
Hostility.
no kidding. No forgiveness.
Escalation.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you later and have a Merry Christmas.
See ya.